Batman Arkham Knight has by far the most amount of alternate suits in any Batman game, dwarfing the selection of the previous 2 open world entries, and that means deciding on a favorite is especially difficult. Hell, even getting your hands on these suits is difficult because of how exclusive half of these suits are to the Switch, the PlayStation, to pre-orders, to DLC. God! In spite of that, I've made my ranking of the suits from worst to best, and as usual, this is not an objective list, and I need to put that out there only because this ranking might be a bit spicy, so without further ado, let's piss you off with the first suit on this list. The Zur-en-arrh suit. It looks like it was made by an alien or something. Oh, well, still, in spite of this suit being more so inspired by our typical Batsuit, I just can't get behind it. I've tried my hardest to like this suit, and at one point I considered myself over the color scheme, but now the biggest turnoff is by far the stitching around the costume. That combined with the mask, which feels further ruined by that stitching, and we get the worst costume that I am near guaranteed to never pick. The one saving grace is the cape. I have a bit of a pet peeve where I dislike when capes go into the helmet, like most Batsuits do, but in this case, where the cape rests on top of the suit, especially to a point where it crinkles a bit, oh yeah, that's the shit. The Noel suit on one hand reminds me of a really unique Batman story, but on the other hand, the suit reminds me of a pipe resizing shit I took a few weeks ago. Okay, that was mean, let me tone it down. The suit has a few things going for it. Good color scheme, cool logo, great looking cape, but the things against it, the generic design, the belt and underwear that look like a chastity belt is covering the bat bush, and of course, the plating makes this look like it's from a universe where Batman was half dragon. I think especially given the tone of Arkham Knight, the biggest offense is how poorly it fits in with the world. Is that the suit's fault? Not entirely, but it is the suit's burden to bear. But at least Zur-en-arrh can be happy knowing it's not the only suit in the game I actively dislike. The anime suit rests in a similar spot as the Noel suit, but gets bonus points for not looking as scaly, for accentuating those points that would naturally show up in a Batman anime, and I wish that this suit was based on the newer Batman anime, but that wasn't released at the time, so what can you do? The iconic black and gray suit is only low on this list because it doesn't really do much. Sure, it looks good, and I certainly wouldn't want it to be removed, but I think the simplicity of the suit makes it stand out for all the wrong reasons. When we think about Arkham Knight, we have to remember that this is a detailed game. So rarely is anything in this game plain. Even Catwoman, whose suit is just a black jumpsuit, is detailed down to the minor scuffs and fabrics, the seams of the suit, and this philosophy extends to every character. Now, I wouldn't call this an over-designing issue, especially because the world follows suit, but I would say it's a matter of intense texture, and when we get a suit like this that generally lacks that texture and has nothing to redeem it, the outcome is something I don't dislike, but also a suit I won't really use. The Batman Inc. suit suffers from a problem with a lot of the suits here, which is a variety issue. It fills a niche being a darker and more simplistic suit, but does so in a weaker way than a ton of other darker, simpler suits, so we're left with something that's good, but suffers in comparison. Regardless, I do appreciate the leathery look of this suit, and not gonna lie, the reinforced jockstrap on this suit feels a little hypocritical given how often Batman has sharpened others' family jewels, but I digress. The classic TV series suit has a special place in my heart because it works shockingly well within the world despite it being also so out of place. The silky look of the cape makes this something I do occasionally use for the novelty alone, and it's a shade of blue that we don't often see in the Arkham games. Now, the eyebrows are uncanny, and I'm not a fan of the utility belt and the logo, and actually most of the suit from the front isn't my favorite, but at least from the back, it doesn't look so bad. Much like your fucking mother, am I right? The Pattinson suit might be the most disappointing suit ever. I loved the Batman when I first saw it, and I still think it's absolutely fantastic. Furthermore, I knew from the start that Robert Pattinson was gonna eat that shit up, so I felt further vindicated when that movie was great. I say this because I have a lot of bias for this suit, and wanted it in the game for so long. But this? I don't know, it's not doing it for me. The first issue, and there isn't a ton you can do about this, is the face. It just doesn't fit Bruce's face like it does in the movies. This is also a rather broad build when compared to Bruce in the movie, which is a bit more of a slender build. The colors are also off, with the bat symbol blending in with the rest of the suit, the primary colors being beige instead of black, and the overall vibe of this suit just feels off. The modded version of this suit looks much better for me, and it's not that I don't like the design, but rather, I wish it was adapted better. The Arkham Asylum suit is an absolute classic, no denying it, but to see it alongside the post-Arkham City suit does break my heart a little bit, and most of that is due to the tone and setting. The Arkham Asylum suit just doesn't fit in wider Gotham. And not because of any failings from the suit, but rather because the Asylum suit was designed to be a reflection of that game and its world. The slender figures Batman takes on when the cape drapes over his shoulders, the simplicity of the suit that's contrasted against the over-designed Lovecraftian vibes of the Asylum, it fits so well there. But here, despite still looking excellent, doesn't match the high-tech aesthetic that feels like an evolution of the series. It's like wearing a caveman suit. It's primitive, not bad, but outdated. The Justice League 3000 suit gets a lot of points for originality, and for incorporating a primary color that isn't black. Now, having a color scheme aside from black for Batman seems a bit wrong, and yeah, I can see that, but red feels just as dark and in line with the character, especially when we look at this version of Batman as an evil or angrier variant. The only reason it doesn't get more use from me is the fact that I don't have it on PC. That doesn't influence the ranking, but it does influence how much I use it. The Dark Knight Returns is a cool Batsuit not just because it's from a super neat line of comics, but because it somewhat fits within the world of Arkham Knight. Narratively, Batman is at the end of his life cycle, feeling older and slower than ever, needing a multi-million-dollar crutch to maintain his control over Gotham. A suit from a comic that sees Bruce coming out of retirement fits the game's world, and because it's naturally bulkier, it fits Batman's proportions unlike the Pattinson suit. I like the stubby ears on this one too, and it would rank higher if there wasn't one just a bit better. The first appearance suit has a special place in my heart. Sure, by all measurable metrics, it looks goofy as hell. The cape is too short, the gloves stand out way too much, it doesn't fit with the world, it's overly simplistic, and yet... I don't know, I just really like it. The purple gloves add a touch of spice to this suit, and the short cape, as strange as it looks, is unique enough to give it novelty. I've spent a while trying to decipher what about this suit makes me tick, but I just can't. I like it. The Keaton suit has one major strength, and that is its color. It's one of the few suits in the game that is straight black, and it gives me an excuse to use it for stealth missions or simply when replaying the game and wanting to aura farm. It comes from the same movies that, while sure, not the pinnacle of storytelling, was a fun time. And this suit has now taken on a new life thanks to that fucking horrendous Flash movie. Here's something that'll get my Batfan card revoked. I've never seen Batman vs Superman, nor have I seen the Justice League movies. The big reason is that for most of my life I've been pretty exclusive to Marvel, with Batman being a bit of an exception, and because for both movies, the reviews were so scathing that I told myself I'd wait for it to come to streaming, and then I never watched it. It's hard for me to watch movies in the first place, and chances are I've missed a lot of the best films, but we're getting sidetracked. On the topic of the actual suit, I didn't like it at first, but it's grown on me significantly since launch. It's a simple design that fits the bulky proportions of Arkham Knight's Batman well, leading me to enjoy it more and more with each playthrough, and there's a chance it could rank even higher in a few years. This is what I was talking about when I said there was a better Dark Knight Returns suit. Much like the first appearance suit, the 1970 suit just hits different. It strikes a solid balance between fitting with the world and being unique enough to feel like a fun change-up. This is pretty similar to the same skin from Arkham City, but that doesn't stop it from being a good suit. It calls back to the earlier years without cursing my eyes with the sight of a Batman cowl featuring eyebrows. The Flashpoint skin is fucking awesome. I don't even know how to describe it without saying variations of, come on, look at it, but I'll try my best. First dub, the shoulders. I love how they're pointed as if they were bat ears. I love the ribbed neck of the cowl for her. I love the red eyes. Aw man, fuck, I love the red eyes! And the color scheme looks great. I know this is a bit contradictory, seeing as I criticized the Pattinson suit for being beige, but here it works because it contrasts with the red and brings to mind an alternate take of the Red Sun Batman, a suit I didn't mind in and of itself. It's a perfect way to incorporate an otherworldly suit into the game. The Arkham Origins suit is an interesting pick because you might notice that it isn't the exact suit from Arkham Origins, instead being the darker variant of the suit you unlock from beating all of the Dark Knight challenges in that game. I think this was a great pick, because if we were to go with the slightly lighter version, we might not have a reason to choose this over the default Batsuit. I mean, both are high-tech, bulky versions of the Batman, and when one of them is absolutely killer, another that is just great isn't gonna cut it. Fortunately, this is still a great suit to use when LARPing as a younger Bruce, and we like seeing Origins love in the big 2025. The Arkham Knight suit, or the Batsuit 8.03 if you're a nerd, is high up on the list because it simply fits perfectly within the world, and represents thematically what Bruce needs to become in order to take down his newest threat. A subplot of Arkham Knight is Batman slowly losing his grip on Gotham. People don't fear him like they used to, and the city knows he's never been the same since the Joker's passing. So a suit that borders on being an Iron Man suit is practical for keeping criminals on their toes, and remembering that Bruce will do whatever it takes to keep criminals in line. It looks great even when damaged, and I couldn't ask for a better canonical suit for the story. The Earth 2 Batman skin has a huge win in that it incorporates enough red to feel a tad evil, but not so much red as to overpower the dark and brooding aesthetic. Coming from an Earth where Thomas Wayne took up the mantle, we get a design that fits well within the world, looks great, and once again, is inaccessible on my computer because the DLC is glitched for me, but I at least have it on my PlayStation and use it frequently when replaying the game there. The post-Arkham City suit is just excellent. There's a big reason I put it above the default Arkham Knight suit, even if, for a time, this is the default. The reason is that it's essentially a remaster of the Arkham City suit. I never loved the Arkham City suit, and a lot of that came down to that game's art style. But in this art style? Okay, now we're talking. I love the way the cape drapes over Batman's shoulders, still reminiscent of the silhouette he embodied in Arkham Asylum. It also achieves something many suits struggle with, which is incorporating the underwear into the suit without it looking weird. My only gripe is the cowl goes over the cape, which I don't prefer, even if it's far more practical for gliding purposes. Okay, so maybe this is cheating, but the only thing better than an Arkham Knight suit is one with a gold logo. I love having a reward for achieving 240% completion, though this suit does expose a big problem with Arkham Knight, which is that we can't do a New Game Plus Plus. We just got this dope trophy suit, and we can't do shit with it, come on! Alright, now we're getting into the top 3, starting with the New 52 suit. I know the New 52 line of comics was, controversial to say the least, but at least the New 52 suit in this game goes crazy! Let's start with the hood, which, is perfect. It looks so good when on the ground, and it drapes over his shoulders too. We get reasonably sized ears, and the gray feels just right in terms of offering contrast. This was a suit I fell in love with about a year ago, and has quickly become one of my favorites in this game. Once again, we have a suit I initially didn't like. I'm sure you guys know this, but I don't like change. I love the Beyond suit in Arkham City, and felt disgusted when I saw this Iron Man-ass looking 2039 Beyond suit. Where's my carbon fiber onesie, huh? But after using it a bit, I changed my tune. I love that this fits in with the world so well, and fits especially well next to the Arkham Knight. I wish we had a bigger cape, and thankfully there's a mod that fixes that, but overall the design of this feels like it was almost inspired by Arkham Knight with its billions of straps and the mask. Finally, we have the number 1 pick, and come the fuck on, who wasn't gonna see this coming? When I was a kid, I loved Batman, but when I first saw the animated series when I was a kid, it was an episode with Clayface that scared the daylights out of me. I didn't look at any Batman material again until Arkham Asylum. And then the first Batman movie I saw was The Dark Knight, and I loved it. Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, well, you're just biased because of nostalgia. Does it look like I care? No! This is a nostalgia pick, but I don't give a shit. I love LARPing that this is the 4th Dark Knight movie. I love that the proportions of the character have changed to fit the suit better. And I love that the slender build makes how fast Batman moves more believable. I've replayed Arkham Knight so many times, and every time I still find myself coming back to this suit. And even if I try to take off the nostalgia goggles, it still looks fantastic from all angles. I hope this list was entertaining, and don't forget to preheat the oven when leaving a comment, because I know my ass is about to get spit roasted like a pig with an apple stuffed in its mouth. So, if you disagree, which let's be honest you do, feel free to leave your ranking in the comments. Actually, on second thought, don't. If you guys want to see more of these ranking videos, then feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.